Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with a review of the JXD 393 Space Trek Defiant. This is a quadcopter, but what really drew my attention to this one is that it actually flies in the plus configuration, whereas most quadcopters fly in the X configuration where you've got two rotors facing diagonally forward. This flies in the plus configuration where you've got one rotor forward and then, obviously all the others facing forward in their directions. It's got blue LEDs on the front and red LEDs on the back. However, it did come with all black rotors. I put this blue one on there. It actually uses the same rotors as the JXD 389 flying car, so I just took one of the spare blue rotors and put it on the front here to help with orientation. So I wish they would have thought of that and put a different color blade on the front, especially since, most people probably aren't used to flying in the plus configuration. This is a fairly new, or not new, but a fairly uncommon feature. The Blade MQX is actually the only other quadcopter I have that has the option to fly in the plus configuration. So when it's flying, it's you can't really see this blue rotor. Sometimes you can kind of see the blue hub, and that helps. But even just crashing or taking off, it just helps to have a different color in the front to remind you which way is the front. But anyway, the lights work really well. They help with orientation. They work well at night. I flew this in complete darkness, and you can fly it just fine at night. It has a 380 milliamp hour battery, but it's kind of built in. There's no real outside access from it. There's an on-off switch here to turn the battery on and off, but you can get at the battery by removing the top canopy here. There's a little notch in the back here, and then you can get access to the battery. So you can change it, but it's not really meant to be accessed for like charging or anything. There is a charging port on the outside to plug your charger in, and then just your on-off switch. So you don't ever really have to get to the battery if you don't want to. It kind of is all self-contained unit. And it does come with a full set of spare props, a screwdriver to change the props, and a USB charging cable. Again, the battery is 380 milliamp hours. It takes about 50 minutes to charge. You get about 6-minute flight times, a little bit longer if you turn the LEDs off, but not a huge difference. It's got this protective frame, though it's a little flimsy. The plastic's kind of, I don't know, it seems a little weak, and it's really integral to the frame. So if you were to break it, it would be pretty difficult to replace it. Especially with the LEDs mounted in, though there are a couple screws, so you may be able to remove the LED section and then just replace the top part of the frame and screw the LEDs back in. Anyway, this is the transmitter. It is 2.4 gigahertz. You can turn your lights on and off. I believe, actually, no, maybe you can't with this one. Yeah, it looks like you can't turn the lights on and off. I was actually flying it with my transmitter from the flying car, the 389, which has a LED screen, and you can turn the lights on and off by using the button where you switch between the quad and the car mode. But these buttons don't actually do anything. So it looks like with this transmitter, you can't turn the LEDs on and off. But you do have a flip button. You have to hold the button while you give input to make it flip. And then it's got a speed button. You've got 3 different rates. The yaw rate stays the same through all 3 rates, but it is a pretty decent rate. You can it's got a good fast yaw. You can fly indoors just fine. The flips are a little bit slow, I think, because of the weight and the protective frame. They kind of drop a lot of height after the flip, and it automatically gains a lot of height before the flip as well. So you probably need a good 6 to 8 feet of airspace to do a flip altogether. But it is, it's 6-axis stabilization. It flies pretty well. It's fairly, nice and smooth in its flight. It's not overly stable, like it does drift a little bit here and there, but when you're actually flying and turning, it stays really nice and smooth. The accelerometer seems to work quite well. Let's see, what else did I have to say about it? Oh, when it hits LVC, it drops pretty much immediately, so make sure you get back to yourself close, to around the 5.5 minute mark, because when you see the light start blinking for LVC, it's going to fall pretty much at that moment. You can recalibrate the accelerometer. You just hold the flip button, hold both sticks down to the bottom left until the LEDs blink, and then you can just let go of everything and that'll recalibrate the accelerometer. And I think that's about all I have to say about it, so let's go fly it around the kitchen. Alright, this is the flight review of the JXD 393 Space Trek Defiant. I'm going to be flying it with the JXD 389 flying car transmitter because I like the LCD screen, and then if you press the fly run button, you can turn the LEDs on and off. So I don't really know why they didn't give you this transmitter with this quad, since there are some features that are nice on here that the stock transmitter doesn't have. Anyway, let's fly on 60% to start, and let's take her up. And so as you can see, it flies in the plus formation, so left is going to that one arm, right to that one arm, forward to that one arm. So it takes a little bit to kind of wrap your brain around remembering that this doesn't fly like the other quads you're used to. Kind of trying to trim it out. And it's pretty noisy, but it's fairly stable. And there's hands off. And let's give her a flip. So pretty slow recovery on the flips because of the weight of the frame. Oh my gosh. Something broke off. Well, that's because it gives itself height after or before a flip there. So you got to remember that it wants to climb. Looks like my my little latch for the canopy here came off. So now it's not going to want to lock into place. Let's see if that stays on. Alright, well, no more flipping in here, but that gave you an idea of what she flips like. Canopy's just kind of popped off. I'll have to tape that back into place or something. But it flies pretty nice. It's not overly fast. I think maybe because of the plus configuration, it's only using one motor to move instead of a combination of two. So I think that makes it a little bit slower. But it flies pretty nice and precise. The Sixaxis is good and stable. Good yaw rate. Yaw rate doesn't change, it's the same throughout all three rates. So I'm on 100%, so there's your full left and right on 100%. Let's take her in for a landing real quick, and let's turn off some lights. This thing is definitely good for night flying. I took it out in the pitch dark and flew it around outside, and I could see it no problem. And you can see the LEDs from below, so you can fly up high and still see them from below or see them from above. You can see them coming straight at you. So pretty good LEDs on it. Alright, well, that's a good enough night flight. Take her in for landing. Beautiful. Alright, let's turn some lights back on. Where's that at? Alright. Alright, so that is that. That's the JXD 393. A little bit fragile there on the canopy, just the the little button notch that locks it on to the frame broke off. So I'll just have to kind of tape it into place or something, but no big deal. Alright, well that's that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you next time.